People often ask if this threat of Q-Day is so far ahead that people are talking years away, why the sudden call to action now? Well, yes, there is no quantum computer that I know of today that can start attacking the cryptography that you're using on the internet today, but the really interesting thing about the quantum threat is the acceleration. So we've seen that the technologies have really been gathering pace, and everybody seems to have a new and more advanced quantum computer every few months and so. Equally, though, there have been very strong developments on the cryptanalytics side. People have been improving the existing uses of Shor's algorithm to attack those key establishment mechanisms and digital signatures of the internet. Recently, Google found that major key establishment of the form of the internet, elliptic curves, perhaps was even more under threat than the factoring problem that everybody had been focusing on. So recently, some Google investigators, in partnership with many good cryptanalysts, found that yes, the size of the quantum computer you need to attack a key exchange on the internet is much, much smaller than the amount of resources you'll need to attack some of these factorization problems that people have been talking about. They're so worried about this development, they haven't released the full details of their discovery, but instead have just offered proof of their findings. And because of this acceleration in the cryptanalysis, they've tried to set an even tighter deadline for changing all of their own systems. So when you hear about Google and Cloudflare changing their migration dates, which they announced earlier this year, to 2029, that's in response to these new cryptanalytic techniques that say that the amount of resources to start attacking the existing internet might not be as big as we thought. So yes, there is no quantum computer that I know of today that can start attacking the cryptography that you're using on the internet today. But what I do know is that the internet is not access controlled. Everybody on the internet can see all of the traffic that's going past. Everybody's playing the game of pass the parcel on which the internet relies. Now, those packets are currently encrypted, but everybody who's passing them around can easily be making a copy of them before passing them along and storing it for a future moment. And that process of storing the data now and decrypting it later when the relevant quantum computer is available is what everybody starts getting worried about. This is less relevant if you're talking about the Google search that you just did for the weather forecast, where you're probably not too worried about people knowing that in 5 years' time. If you start talking about data with a longer sensitivity and a longer lifetime, things start getting worrying. How long do you want your healthcare data to remain anonymous? How long do you want your financial transactions to remain confidential? How long do you want your national security secrets to remain under protection? If you're sending them now under the old forms of cryptography that are widespread on the internet, those things can be saved off by an adversary, and in 5 years, perhaps sooner, perhaps later, that adversary may have access to a quantum computer and could then take care of everything that's being sent today and read it, and rendering that data available at that point in the future. We know it's an approach that has happened historically. If we look at the Second World War, there were many times when the Allies weren't able to read the Axis traffic, or the Enigma traffic, or the Tunny traffic that was so vital to the war effort. They kept on intercepting it, and they kept hanging on to it on the basis that hopefully something was going to happen that was going to make that break. And they were right. They did get that break, and all of the back traffic that they collected from the Axis forces could then be deployed against them. So we really do want people to start their migration journey as soon as possible.